Good evening. Welcome to Painfully Honest Tech so honest it hurts. Here we are doing a live stream. It has been a minute since I did a live stream. Let me know if everything is happening. Hey, I had a 3-minute timer, and now I'm here. How's everybody doing? So let me see. It says I'm live. Yeah. Woohoo! Hope everybody's doing well. I see New York Tom. I see Genosis in the house. Chronic Town. Harshid. Old school Harshid. Ace, of course, is here, and we got Jonathan. We got Draftsman. Yeah. So how is everybody? I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. Art Dog, good to see you, man. Yeah, it has been a while since I've just been, we moved. That was one thing that we did. Jonathan, good to see you. Jonathan Rash, good to see you. Alan over in Ireland, the land of ire. Nice to see you. Thank you. I've been working on, we moved into this house, and I have a finished basement, the whole basement, to do whatever I want to do. So I have two spaces. This is like the live streaming space and recording space, and then I have my music / gaming space over on the other side of so the stairs come down the middle of the room. Anyway, I painted everything black and put up some curtains. And yeah, so it's been good. Idle Time, good to see you. And the Tech Boy, good to see you. Yeah, so I decided to do this like this evening or this afternoon or something. Yeah, this afternoon I decided to do this, and I really don't have like a topic, quote unquote, to to talk about, but I am willing to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We can do an AMA, a Q&A, whatever we want to do. We could do. New York Times, thank you. It is awfully cozy in here, and I'm still working on it. I just put this together last week. It is the Painfully Honest Man Cave. I tell you what, I never leave the basement now. I'm just here all the time. That's not true, because we got a 100-inch projector upstairs, and so I go up there. Chronic Town, thanks, man. Franklin, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it has been a while, and I don't really have any excuse other than the fact that I've been doing the Amazon live streams and trying to get some stuff fixed up and ready to go for the last half of this year and the new year and all that kind of stuff. No red doors. It snowed. It snowed here like a week ago, and it was like 12 degrees, and it was awful. But then today it was like 52 degrees. This is the time of year that I hate because it gets really weird. So why now the chat is off. The chat is off complaining about Safari just out of the blue. Safari is it's the program that I want to love because it's not nearly as resource intensive as Chrome, but Chrome is where I have all of my stuff, so it's like I gotta kind of do it. I gotta use the Chrome. Anyway, and I know everybody said it in the comments, and everybody knew it was coming, but I'm back. I still have the PC. I'm back on the Mac. And just I have too much invested over too many years to restart everything at like 51 years old. I am now 51 years old. It's crazy. Firefox is good. I mean, I used to use Firefox I think I used Firefox right after what was was it Netscape? I forget what the original browser was, and then there was Firefox, and then there, Tech Boy. I know it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. What do I think about the Pixel Fold? I have to admit that I haven't like read anything or looked up anything. But I'm very positive on the Fold 4. So yeah, Netscape Navigator, that's what it is. You're so sweet. Good evening, Big John. Yeah, so I've been, as you know, probably if you followed the channel for a while, I've been kind of down on the folding phones, but the Fold 4 really kind of was a really good phone, and I'm still using it. I still like it. I'm going back and forth between that and an iPhone 12 Pro Max. So the 12 Pro Max is enough iPhone. If you don't need the 14. I got really annoyed at the 14, mostly because I have to switch SIM cards all the time, and I can't switch SIM cards when you only have eSIM. So I don't know what this means for me and iPhones going forward, but I suppose every company will go all eSIM now, and and then I'll just have to suck it up, and who knows. Ivan says, yes, I'm 51 years old now. 51, late October. So yeah, I feel 51 years old, not 51 years young. I got to tell you, my back has been killing me. I got one of those like massage guns, and I just had my wife was just like massage gunning my back for like 10 minutes. I don't know why. It just was like, it was really painful. So I think like, okay, so I don't have the arms on this chair. This is my SteelSeries, or my Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022. I didn't put the arms on so I could like sit and play guitar. But right now I have another chair over there, and I have to sit forward playing guitar. And I think I like twist myself somehow. Oh my goodness gracious! We've got Easy Computer Solutions in the house. The tech preacher himself is in the house. Good to see you. Yeah. I figured I would like give people a hint that I'm back on Mac by putting this ancient iMac in the background. I'm using right now the last 27-inch iMac ever made, the 2020 iMac. I have a video coming out on this. I talked about it on Twitter a little bit, but it's maybe my favorite Best Buy story ever. Okay, so this computer in the configuration that Best Buy said it was, this computer was $2,300. So i7, 512 gigabytes of storage, 8 gigabytes of RAM, which you can upgrade, obviously, and so they had it open box for $1,264.99, $1,265. So already I'm looking at this. It's open box. They don't make them anymore. When am I ever going to get one? And I kind of missed the iMac. I didn't want to buy. I had the studio display. I sold it. I didn't want to buy another studio display because it's not worth $1,600, honestly. And so I was like, well, $1,200 for an iMac, I'll do it. I went down, I picked it up, I brought it home, got it out of the box, set it up, and then I went to the Mac window, the About My Mac window, and at first I was like, sort of looking through the storage, seeing how much like the install of stuff had taken up and all that, and I looked at the storage and it said 4 terabytes, and I was like, 4 terabytes? 4 terabytes? And then I went back to the overview page and I saw 3.6 gigahertz 10 core Intel i9. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I paid $1,264 for what on the box it says is an i7 512 gigabytes of storage. And instead I got an i9. Instead I got an i9 and 4 terabytes of storage. This computer, I tried to figure out what it would be. This computer would be like $3,500. $3,500. Tired of being alone? Oh my goodness. What is going on here? Yeah, all kinds of spam. Genosis, thank you for hiding that. So anyway, I'm using this iMac and then I've got everything set up. And I've been happy. Yeah, so but I still do the PC thing. I have a PC that does everything that I want it to. And yeah, 4 terabytes of storage. And I have it halfway filled up already. I don't know how, but it is halfway filled up. It's kind of crazy. I just went wild. I was like, oh, I could download sample libraries and I can do whatever I want. And that's what I've done. I put 64 gigabytes of RAM in. So this thing is cooking. It's cooking. But so I brought it over here to be the video / live streaming computer, and I went out and I got an open box 16-inch MacBook Pro. And so now I'm like, well, see, here's the thing, Tech Boy. I might be as old as your mom. I might be older than your mom. But here's the thing. I mean, my first computer was a Mac. That was like 1992. And then I worked in graphic design and publishing and all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, I don't know. I've just always used Mac. I learned to do recording on Mac when you couldn't do recording on PC. And so it just was I have so much invested in terms of like money and time that it took me to learn all the programs and all that kind of stuff that it just makes sense to go back and work and sort of there's upsides and downsides to Mac OS, obviously. And that is what it is. But Mac OS is, I don't know. Yeah. Tech Boy, you're 16. That's good, man. You're getting out there early. See, there was no internet when I was 16. There was no internet. Yeah, Al Green was in need of that bot back in the day. He was so tired of being alone. Did you know that Al Green? Well, I mean, this is true of a lot of R&B singers who became really popular up and through the 70s and even later. Al Green is now was before and now is again strictly a minister, a preacher, and he. Yes, I am a 160-year-old wizard. I add another 60 years every calendar year. So next year I'll be, what is that? 210. So New York Tom, is 59. Hey man, it's all good. They say, I keep telling myself, the people say that 50 is the new 40. I'd rather it be the new 30. But yeah, when I was 16, we had that mimeograph paper. You remember the stuff that rolled off and it printed in purple and it smelled funny? Atari 800 was a cool computer, man. I couldn't afford that. I had a 2600, but we never had a computer at my house. Yeah, we never had a computer at my house. It wasn't until my now wife, then girlfriend, borrowed a Mac Classic from her parents. Had just bought a Mac Classic and they let her use it for her last year of college, and she brought it and she put it in my apartment, and it had like a little screen, literally like I think it was like 7 or 8 inches wide. It was it was crazy. So yeah, that was iOS 9, or maybe it was iOS. I can't remember how. I maybe that was. I can't remember. Anyway, man, that mimeograph paper was good. I used to sniff that stuff all the time. Commodore 64, another good first PC. I had friends who had Commodore 64s, and I looked at their Commodore 64s, and I really didn't even understand what they were doing. I was like, yeah, I don't know. My grandparents owned a shoe store, and in the back of the shoe store was like a sewing machine, sales and repair shop, vacuum cleaners, and typewriters, which is weird. And but they had, like, around the time I was in high school, they had Brother word processors, which had a little like fold up screen that was like this this big, and yeah, so you would type in that, and then you could print it out. Yeah, and they got me one of those for my birthday, like when I went to college, I think. So I graduated college in 1989. So yeah, so I had one of those and used it for writing papers, and then I would, before I started dating my now wife, I would go over to friends' apartments and write overnight while they were sleeping on their computer. I never used a computer lab. I don't know. Do they even still have computer labs? I mean, I know they don't. They don't, in the sense that, there are computers there for people to use, because that went away like 10 years ago. We had, actually, the office at my old job had a little like bank of 4 computers that students could use. And so yeah. I meant Mac OS. It's very confusing. I think Apple does this to make us seem stupid. It's like, I always had this theory that marketing, those brother word processors were kind of cool. It was, but it was very hard. It was still very hard to. It was still very hard to like type and correct things and all that. I guess George R. R. Martin still uses like some ancient computer with WordPerfect on it. Like, you can't, like, WordPerfect hasn't been updated for 30 years or something, but WordPerfect was the Microsoft Word of the early days. 40 public computer labs still? Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, we got rid of the computers that were in our computer lab, mostly because people would come in and use the computers, and I didn't want people coming in. I wanted to be alone. But I'm so tired of being alone. I'm so tired and on my own. So, Nash, they have some at your college? First computer was a ZX81. I saw somebody said they had a Trash 80. Radio Shack Trash 80. My roommate in college, who I was also friends with, we went to high school together, he built like an automatic stage lighting rig out of a Trash 80, and like, I don't know how he did it. He built the like fader panel himself. It was bizarre. MacBook Air M2 is worth it, or should I just go for the MacBook for the M1 MacBook? I don't know. I mean, from what I saw, I didn't bother to go out and get an M2, but from what I saw, it did have some improvements, but I don't really think that the improvements were such that the performance would be all that different. But what is different, of course, is the form factor and a better screen, and so it might be worth it for the better screen, honestly, because the screens on the MacBook Airs have always been kind of garbage, and now they're better. So that might be worth it. And right now, I mean, I think Apple is on like crazy sale on like a lot of websites. I know that Best Buy has had like $500 off MacBooks. So I'm just gonna look here. MacBook Air M2. Yeah, right now, the lower end model, the 256 gigabyte MacBook Air M2 is $1049. So $1049. And I don't know why this is web. Yeah. Web. I don't know why it's not going there. Anyway, $1049, but from what I heard, one of the problems with the lower storage models is that they split the storage in two, so the storage is slower. So you want to get the 512 gigabyte version, which is $1299, and that actually has much faster storage. And I mean, that's kind of the drag of the whole thing, is that if you have 256 gigs of storage and you split it in 128s and you slow down the storage, that's one of the reasons that you buy a MacBook, because the storage is so fast. So yeah, it's normally $1499. This is Best Buy Black Friday deal. Normally $1499 down to $1299, and then yeah, $150 off the base model. Which I think that for the majority of people, I mean, if you're going to get a Mac, for the majority of people, like the MacBook Air is probably all that you need. Like if you think you're going to need it, get 16 gigabytes of storage, or maybe and maybe kit it out with the terabyte of, or 16 gigabytes of RAM and a terabyte of storage. But at the end of the day, I don't think that you're really going to notice it. If you're somebody who's just like doing productivity stuff, like light spreadsheets, not any kind of like heavy number crunching or anything like that. If you're just doing normal stuff on the computer, not even like video editing, you could do. And yeah, they're really cool computers. I like the midnight color, but then again, I like black everything. Idle Time says my first system was a 32-bit HP Windows 98. Man, I remember those Windows 98 days. Can we talk about One UI 5 and the S22 series? I don't have One UI 5 yet. I haven't seen it. Oh yeah, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Yeah, I assume there are problems with One UI 5. I mean, because why wouldn't there be? Photoshop and Illustrator, I think they would work pretty well on the M2. They would probably work pretty well on the M1 as well. I mean, let me see what the M1 base model 256 is $799. That's an awfully compelling dollar amount for, and this 256 gigabytes of storage is not split in two, so it's got the faster storage. I think that storage is like 5 gigabits per second or something like that. Whatever, 5,000 megabits per second. Yeah, 5 gigabits per second read and write speed on that hard drive. So that I have to admit, the S22 Ultra, even though the Android phone that I ended up keeping this year was the Fold 4, the S22 Ultra was my favorite phone of the whole year. And it's probably because it was the Note, and I want a Note. So yeah, but the S22 Ultra I think is probably the S series phones absolutely perfected. Battery life is great, screen amazing, S Pen inside. I mean, it was just an unbelievably good phone, and I kind of wish that I still had it, but I can't justify having, that many phones anymore. So no picture-in-picture on YouTube and in the secure folder. Yeah, I tell you what, the Ultra right now is you can get an S22 Ultra, 256 gigabytes, S22 Ultra, 8 gigabytes of RAM, renewed on Amazon for $800, $799. And I don't know if you guys have ever done any of the Amazon renewed stuff, but I've gotten a couple of phones from them, and both of them, it was if I didn't know that it was refurbished or like whatever they want to call it, refreshed, then I wouldn't have known that it wasn't a new phone. Yeah, I got a 7 Plus, and it had if it didn't have a screen protector on it already, I wouldn't have known. Ace has done the Pixel for 2 cycles now, and the Pixel 6 Pro, now the Pixel 7. Gonna stick with the iPhone. Yeah, man, there are some things that here's what it is for me. I don't know if this is what it is for you guys, but for me, what ends up happening is the iPhone it does everyday life stuff a lot better, or a lot more, not better, but just it seems to like fit into my life more. So why am I now showing? There, that's what I want to show. I don't know. My Stream Deck is not cooperating right now. Yeah, Amazon has a pretty high threshold for what they sell as renewed, and so it's pretty good. Tech Boy says his mom had some bad experiences with renewed products. Yeah, I mean, you can get, obviously you can get stuff that's good or bad or whatever. But the good thing about Amazon is I think the renewed stuff has a 90-day return policy. So, yeah. Chris G7VEO says, is it worth waiting for the S23? The S23 will likely be out in like February, March-ish, I guess. So if you haven't bought an S22 yet, you could wait. But then again, I mean, my friend Renee Ritchie always says, like, buy the best thing that you can afford to get now, and just use it. So if you need a new phone, the S22 Ultra is absolutely one of the best phones I've ever used. So Genosis says, now that the pandemic restrictions have been minimized, all the tech is back to overstock, hence we have good deals this year. Yeah, it's true. It's true. The one thing that I've noticed this year, though, and I've noticed this on Amazon doing the Amazon live streams, because of the economy here in the U.S. at least, and I know that I heard that in Britain it's not good either. Like people, maybe they're waiting for Black Friday, but people have not been buying as much stuff through my streams as they used to. I mean, it's kind of weird because it was kind of like clockwork. Every month I would get, I would get to where I needed to go, and then the past couple of months it's been a drag. It's been hard. So people seem to be holding on to their money a little bit more. So, but like I say, with Black Friday coming, maybe people are just sort of like keeping their stuff. Richard, good to see you. Just picked up a great deal on Pixel 6 for your mom. I mean, I imagine the Pixel would be a pretty good phone for a parent, an older parent. My mom is 80. My mom, she had an iPhone. She just got like some kind of Samsung phone. I can't remember. It was like not a top end Samsung. But my brother, I went to visit my parents in October. Or my mom, my dad's dead. And my brother got a Flip 4, and I had really bad luck with the Flip 3, My daughter had two of them, and the screen cracked in both of them. So hopefully that's not the case. That's not the case this with the Flip 4. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Pixels are too limited. It might have been the A53. Yeah, it was an A series phone for sure. You know, she's old and her eyes are bad, so she got a bigger phone. So I can't remember. Tech for your needs is in the house. Pew, pew. Oh, I turned that down. Oh yeah. I got my Rodecaster Pro 2 going here, so good to see you, Tech for your needs. Ivan says bought renewed once, but the volume button was loose. Was surprised that Amazon, without me asking, prepaid the return cost. Yeah, and they sent you a brand new phone. Yeah, Amazon's return deals on their renewed stuff is really pretty good. Really, I've been very impressed, honestly. So, I mean, they're kind of like they give you 90 days and you can send it back. And yeah, Amazon, you know, I return a lot of things, but Amazon makes it really easy. Although my friend just sent me an article today that said that retailers are going to start cracking down on serial returners. So I better watch it. Yeah, and Genosis has got a good point. Specs aren't always the end all be all of everything, because especially now that even like mid-tier system SoCs are as good as anything that we had 3 or 4 years ago. Now you can the Pixel is. I think the Pixel might seem limited because Google takes a more curated approach, I guess you could say. Yeah, they take a more curated approach and kind of in the same way that iOS does. Yeah, I tell you what, I've been returning stuff like crazy at Best Buy. So yeah, it got, when we were moving, it got a little crazy because I had to like buy some stuff and then return some stuff and buy some, return. So yeah, it got a little out of control. But I think in the new year, I said this last year, I'm just going to use the stuff that I have. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, you've heard it here first. I'm just going to use the stuff that I have, and not buy any, at least not any like big ticket items. So I'm sure there'll be like I'll be reviewing a phone or two or something like that. But yeah. Chris asks, is it best to get the Xbox Series X even if it's a bit more expensive? It depends. Okay, I have both the PlayStation. Yeah, I know, like, I go into Best Buy and I spend most of my time talking to the people who work at Best Buy. Like, there are always like one or two people at Best Buy who know who I am, and like I end up shooting the shit with them for like, more time than I spend shopping. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, what was I saying? The Series X, the Game Pass is really the Game Pass is really impressive. If you play a lot of games, if you play a lot of games at like different games, and not just like I play one game and I play it all the time, but you sort of roll through a bunch of different games. I mean, they've got new titles, they've got catalog titles from previous systems, they've got all kinds of stuff, and I think it's like $15 a month. PS5 has a similar thing, but I think it's more expensive. And for me, like on PS5, for some reason, on PS5, I want to play the exclusives. and then I'll play some other stuff. But then when it's something like Warzone or or something like that, I'll usually play on PC, and I end up not really playing too much on the Xbox. I saw an article today that said that uh, that Xbox has admitted that PlayStation's exclusives are better. So, and it's true. It's true. Spider-Man, yeah. I mean, it's I have Miles Morales downloaded right now. I haven't played. I haven't done God of War. I didn't do Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man. Yeah, Last of Us, like the totally remade Last of Us. I would love to play. But I don't do a very good job of sort of managing my time so that I have some energy left at the end of the day. I think in like moving forward, I'm trying to plan so that I'm going to be done with everything that I have to do for the day by like 1 or 2 p.m. And then I'm going to give myself permission to like play some games, maybe stream some games or something like that. And I'm also going to stream here more, and I'm going to do some live streaming on the music channel as well. So I haven't played games seriously for a long time. I did play Grounded for an evening with my friend Curtis, and Grounded was pretty fun. PC only, but yeah, it was more fun than I thought it would be. So the DualSense controller, yeah, it's pretty cool, but man, I'd be surprised if I played more than like 20 hours total on my PS5, which is a sad commentary on my life, honestly. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I saw somebody asked, have I gotten, I'm going back here. Stephanie asked, did I end up getting the Watch Ultra? I did. So let's go overhead. Here it is. I wanted to resist it, but it had this like OD gray band, and I couldn't resist. But I'll say this. I'll say this about the Watch Ultra. It is very nice. It is probably obviously the best version of the Apple Watch that there has been to this point. I like the bigness of it. I didn't think that I would, but it is completely unnecessary, completely overkill. As something. It has a siren on it. It has I guess if you're a big outdoorsy person, then this is the Apple Watch to have. But there's not. I mean, honestly, there is no reason for this to exist other than like just. This is the Flex. This is the Apple Flex of 2022. This watch is the Apple Flex of 2022, and so I resisted for like a month or so, and then it is good. But I have also the Watch 5 Pro, and the Watch 5 Pro is like 45 millimeters. So if you look at the Watch 5 Pro compared to this, I mean, it's pretty beefy as well. And they're both made out of titanium or like whatever alloy it is. The Watch 5 Pro is a really solid buy as well, and only $450. Only $450 instead of $800. Although the Watch Ultra has been discounted for the first time. I think as of yesterday, so the Watch Ultra was discounted to $749. So if you've been waiting for a discount on the Watch Ultra, so you could get it for less than $800. Oh, New York Tom, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'll check you later on. Yeah. Tech Boy, should I get a Watch 5 Pro? You know, I really do like it. I think that the Watch 4 and the Watch 5 Pro and the Watch 4 Classic or whatever they called it, I think those were the first of the Galaxy watches to actually be competitive with the Apple Watch. And so whether you get the Watch 5 or the Watch 5 Pro, they are very good. They are very good. I mean, it might be worth just going with the Watch 5. So Apple does have discounts. Like we were talking about before, at Best Buy, they've discounted all the MacBooks for this past week. In fact, I went to Best Buy and did a price match on the MacBook that I bought because it was $500 more cheaper by $500. Where do I see Apple in 5 years? Yeah, man, that's a good question. I mean, I think Apple is in kind of like, so they came out with Apple Silicon, and they're going to continue to like bring those products out, and they're going to continue to be better. But I think like we saw with the M2, it's not going to be like a huge step forward every time there's a new M series chip. And I think once they get all of their computers switched over to their chips, I really feel like Apple with the iPhone and the iPads has been in an iteration mode. You know, they're just like new iterations of their products, like slightly improved over and over. I don't see them doing anything like super crazy for the next 5 years. The sort of wild card there is AR, whether or not they get the AR glasses or goggle or whatever it is that they're going to have. If they get that out and it catches on, then it could be another big boon for them. But I don't see anything. I don't see anything with like really changing. X Plumber, good to see you. Would it be stupid to buy the Watch Ultra without an iPhone? Yeah, it would be stupid. Sorry. I mean, it's you could use it, sure, but in order to use it, like you have to. It only comes in the mobile version, and you have to tether it to a phone line. I don't know if you have to tether it to an iPhone specifically. It has to be tethered to a phone line. But yeah, if you don't want, if you like, get an iPhone SE or something. Yeah, Tech for Your Needs is right. Apple is in that sort of, we're refining our products. They went through that period where they screwed everything up from 2016 up until 2021. So 5 years of trying different things and completely failing. I guess 2013 when they came out with the trash can Mac Pro all the way up through 2021, they screwed up the keyboards, they screwed up the laptops in multiple ways. The screens were coming delaminated and the keyboards were falling apart and just all this kind of stuff. But the thing is, now Bader says, but they get more and more expensive. Actually, that's the crazy thing. Apple's pricing structure has stayed the same for years. Like the Plus or the like the bigger model of the iPhone has always been $1099 for the base model. And then, and they go down from there. And of course, if you get more storage or whatever, it goes up. The laptop pricing structure has remained the same. Like the base MacBook Air has always been $999. Well, no, it went up to $1099, but then after a while it came back down. So they kind of, they've kind of found a water level where they seem to be doing okay. They're not doing more than okay. I mean, they've got a crap ton of money, but they are really, their pricing has not been as aggressively consumer hostile as they were perceived to be. I would say if you look like, let's just stay with laptops. If you look at a similarly spec'd either like Ultrabook or something like the Dell XPS 15 versus the MacBook. The Dell XPS 15 with the OLED screen and you know, basically spec'd out in a similar way to the MacBook is $2,400, $2,500 for the OLED screen and like all of that stuff. And then, but you can get a MacBook Pro, 512 gigabytes of storage, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 16-inch MacBook Pro you can get for $2,300. And then you can get the base MacBook Pro 14-inch for $1,999, which, I mean, I think that's a you get a lot of computer at $1,999 for that base MacBook Pro 14. And you know, going up from there, I think for me it's either base MacBook Pro 14 or the 1 terabyte 16 gigabyte version if you're buying off the shelf. 1 terabyte version of the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Now, I was gonna buy like a 32 gigabytes of RAM version of the MacBook Pro with the M1 Max. Yeah, M1 Max. And it was $3,500. And and I was like, I had the money, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. It's gonna be the computer. I'm gonna do it. And then and then I just like, I thought my way out of it. I thought, like, am I ever gonna need more than 1 terabyte and 16 gigs of RAM? You know, the more videos I watched, the more Max Tech that I watched, the more I was like, I don't think I need it. The base model Mac Mini can outperform these things. Yeah, if your credit is good, Apple will sell you anything on payments. The thing is, though, you know, like the other day on Twitter, Greg from Greg's Gadgets put up a screenshot of how much money he's gotten back in like Apple Cash, you know, because they give you back money when you spend money. And it was like he's gotten like almost $4,000 of money back. $4,000 of money back. Which, imagine, like, I don't remember what there's sort of a graduated return on like percentage based on what you're buying, but nearly $4,000 of money back means that you spent a metric crap ton of money. Like, Genosis, yeah, Max Tech, where they do the camera, I think they do the best camera stuff now. Because, I mean, I think Max was, or maybe still is, like a photographer by trade. But I think Max Tech has now sort of like taken over, and that's like the main thing. But I think he did photography and videography as like his main gig before. So he really knows what he's talking about when he's doing the camera stuff. So they're really good. Yeah, it's that's the thing, like, man, buying stuff, so much buying. Moonman 4 you had a HomePod fry? Did it just like sort of just poof? I haven't heard of anybody having that doing. Anybody having one do that. So yeah, it's interesting. Larry's Library, what light are you using lighting my face? This is a Godox SL120, and then over here I have a Godox SL60, and they both have like small 24-inch soft boxes with the honeycomb thing in them. So it took me years and years and years, but finally, I haven't seen Sam's Flex, but I said to Greg, like, I was just like, why would you show this to someone? Why would you put this on Twitter? Like, I mean, I'm terrible with money. I spend too much money all the time. And so I'm no one to cast aspersions on anyone else if they want to flex how much money they've spent in a given calendar period, but it just seemed weird. Is it weird? Is it weird to like put how much money you like cash back that you've got on the social media platform? Or am I just like old fashioned or something? I don't know. It just seems very bizarre. Bushin RYU Cat says Apple is stupid for not promoting their trade deals for the old phones they have with service providers. They give people a good reason to upgrade. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I think Apple looks at the way that people buy iPhones as, people keep an iPhone for 2 years or 3 years, and then they sort of like, they see their customers as just on an upgrade cycle, and they cycle through every 2 or 3 years. And so they give a little bit of a break on the trade-ins. Now Samsung has a totally different way that they use their trade-ins to get people to trade in for the new phone. I mean, when you're getting $800 trade-in on a phone for a phone that costs like $1,200, and so you're only really paying $400 for the phone, Samsung is kind of gaming the system there. What they're doing is trying to get more of the new phones into the market so they can have bigger sales numbers. Whereas Apple just looks at their customers say as like, they go through a cycle where they'll use their iPhone and then upgrade. Best Buy is giving people $465 for an iPhone XR right now, or XR, XR, yes. Toward the Pixel 7, get the phone for like $40 after tax. That's crazy. That is a good deal. If I had an iPhone XR, I mean, maybe I have an OG iPhone SE. Maybe they'll give me like $300 for that. I don't know. I had forgotten that the iPhone XR existed until just now. But yeah, it's crazy time. I think that what we're seeing now is that smartphones and all other tech really has gotten so good, and the manufacturing processes are so tight, and everything just is like, the quality levels are very high, that people don't really need to upgrade anywhere near as fast as the companies might like them to. Marty says, hi, Jason. As for the HomePod Mini, nothing but trouble disconnecting from pairing issues. After a year, they work no problem on iOS, Apple TV, but glitches on a Mac Mini M1. I haven't heard anything about the HomePod Mini. I mean, I kind of feel like the HomePod Mini is like the island of misfit Apple products. I still think it was a mistake for them to discontinue the HomePod, the original HomePod, because that was a really good device, and sounded great paired if you're using it with an Apple TV. I have a video, you guys might have seen it already, where I had it paired with the Apple TV doing home theater. It sounded fantastic, and so I thought that there was a lot to be really good. A lot of really good stuff with the original HomePod. The HomePod Mini, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good, but it doesn't sound great. I think about, like, Steve Jobs was a huge audiophile. He loved music. He loved just like music tech, and the iPod was sort of born out of that. So if Steve Jobs were still running the company, I think they would be putting more focus on music gear for audio, but I don't think the profit margin is there. I don't think they would sell enough of them to really care about the HomePod Mini is $99, and so they probably make a decent profit off of it, and it just kind of goes off the shelves. And You know, every once I think I've only seen one of the non-black and white, like the orange or the yellow or whatever colors. I I think I've only seen one in like a Best Buy or someplace once. So yeah, I mean, Moon Man, I think I think that they probably have a replacement. I don't know if or why they wouldn't release it, but I think what happened with the original HomePod is they spent so much time and so much money, like the sunk cost of the development of the original HomePod was such that it made it it made it sort of untenable to continue to produce it because they weren't making enough, they weren't selling enough of them to make it make sense to to keep making them. I think that that product cost so much to develop that they ended up just not being if every Apple user would have bought a HomePod, then they would have been golden. But I think it was still sort of a niche market. Most people would be totally satisfied to listen to music through their Echo or whatever, their Google whatever whatever the Google things are. Most people don't care about the way the music sounds, right? So I think that a lot of people, even Apple people weren't buying the HomePods. Um, what is my camera setup right now? So this is the A7C here, and it's got a Tamron 17 to 28 lens on it with, I think it's a 10% diffuser, but it was already on there before Prosser told me to get a diffuser. Okay, so it's just got, I think it's a 10 or a 15% diffuser on there. And yeah, so that's my A cam right now. And then my B cam is the ZV-1. I'm trying the ZV-1 again because I have an A7C or an A7 III that was up here, but it was having trouble for some reason focusing on the products as I was showing them in the Amazon streams. So the ZV-1 has built in this has built in this like product showcase mode where it will focus on what you're holding in your hand. I mean, it is made for YouTubers, I guess. So yeah, Moonman says, good point, too expensive for most and at the time and no fine tuning. Plus Siri kind of sucks, but then the Siri that they put on the original HomePod was like the Siri's younger cousin who got hit in the head when she was a baby. Like that Siri was really dumb. And I gotta maybe it's I think it's an age thing. I don't use voice assistants. I don't use voice assistants at all. Yeah, Marty, I remember when I got the HomePods, the original HomePods, I got two of them soon after they were released, and I had a lot of problems with they were dropping the AirPlay signal, they were unpairing in stereo. It sounds like maybe the HomePod minis are still having some problems with that, and maybe there's something in the technology that doesn't want to talk to the M series chips. But I don't know. I mean, Apple sort of quickly went through a lot of different technologies in their computers before they got to the M series chips, but I think now, moving forward, they're never like they're going to be more stable. But I think they're going to have to develop new products, basically. Alternate reality. I just use my iPod to pair as speakers for my Apple TV. Works well for me. Yeah. I've gone back and forth for a lot of different things. And somebody asked like way back. I don't know if this person's still here, but they asked if I do any home theater stuff, and I do cover some home theater stuff from time to time. Right now, like one of the videos that's actually performing well on my channel is my Sonos Arc video. So I did a video about that. If you pair an Apple TV with a Dolby Atmos system, and the Sonos Arc is a Dolby Atmos capable system, and so I had the Arc and a sub and 2 Play Ones in the back, and you could listen to spatial audio tracks through the system, and it was really incredible. But yeah, Sonos is great, but that system in total, that system, like the Arc is $900 and the sub is $800, and 2 Play Ones are $200 each, or I guess they're just plays now. Yeah, so it was like a $2,000 system. My math might be wrong, but yeah, I don't know. I always loved the idea of the voice assistant, but then I was always really uncomfortable just like talking with no one in the room. You know? I mean, now I'll do like with the Apple TV, I will more often scroll through all the letters and spell something out before I'll just say, what I'm looking for. Yeah, but very expensive. The Sonos stuff is really, really nice. I mean, I think that's another thing that hurt the HomePod, is that Sonos already existed. And Sonos had already started to improve and expand their product lines to go into more places in the home. And so the HomePod, I mean, whereas it's just like one HomePod, it looks like a giant earplug. But then Sonos has the Play One and the 5, and then they've got the Beam, and they've got the Arc, and before that they had the Play Bar. So, Sonos was, originally a great whole home audio solution, but now Sonos still does that incredibly well, but it's also like a really great home theater system. So you can listen to your music through your Apple TV, through something that sounds really good, and not have to have like an AVR system where you have, speakers and everything is just really, really like jammed up in your home theater room. And I mean, the wife approval factor on that is high. So, I know that my wife doesn't like to have giant speakers in the room, and then an AVR with all these things, all these inputs is confusing. And so, yeah, the Sonos system just made it really simple. Now we have, so I got a Hisense sent me a L9G 100-inch short throw projector, laser projector. And so 100-inch screen, laser projector, and then I had the Enclave Cinehome Pros, which are just these like obelisk speakers, but it sounds really good. It's more of a home theater kind of thing, but they don't have like the volume volume as in like mass in the room as much. So that's been fun, but I can't figure out how to control the volume, because for some reason the Cinehome is supposed to get its signal through the Arc connection on your TV, or in this case the projector, and it wasn't getting the signal, and the projector wasn't showing that Arc was available. So I had to use optical, and now I can't figure out how to change the volume other than with the app that's on my phone. So that's my problem right now. That's my problem. My $5,000 projector won't talk to my $1,800 speaker system. But I didn't pay for either of them. Okay, didn't pay for either of them. And if you haven't tried these laser projectors, like this is a tri-laser thing, and they are really expensive. There are some that are less expensive and still very good, but this is like 4K Dolby Vision 100-inch laser short throw projector. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So how long have I been doing this? How long have I been? 1 hour and 7 minutes. That's kind of like my cutoff point. So anyway, are you guys still out there? Nobody said anything for a few minutes. But anyway, I am gonna jump off. I don't wanna, I don't wanna wear out my welcome, and I want to make this viewable later on. And right now I feel like I'm just talking and jabbering on about nothing. So at any rate, thank you guys so much for being here this evening. Once again, my name is Jason, and this is Painfully Honest Tech. Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts, live and in person, here on the evening before the day we give thanks for whatever it is that we're giving thanks for. And yeah, Black Friday. I'm gonna have a huge list of Black Friday deals that and then I'm also gonna be streaming on Amazon. If you don't already follow me on Amazon, please go over to Amazon. There's a link in the description of the video of the live stream down below. Go over on Amazon and follow me, because I always basically go like on Amazon and just try and find like the best deals. Like if you're looking for the XM5s, the Sony WH-1000 XM5s, they are on sale right now for the first time ever. They're $348 on Amazon. And then the Sony, I haven't reviewed these yet, but these are the Sony H9s. They're also on sale over there. So anyway, love you guys. Talk to you again soon. Until the next time, I'm out.